One way of doing this question is to, of course, try all the numbers and see if it works. But we don't really want to just be doing that. We want to like see how we could get the answer if we weren't given multiple choice. You could set up an equation, and I will talk about that at the end. But actually, I think the best approach is to use a function machine. Start with an input and then just say what's happening to it. So we've got the knave of hearts stole some tarts. We'll call the number x. If they ate half of them, then we can divide that by 2. If they then ate another half, then we can minus a half. And then the knave of diamonds ate a half of what was left, so divide by 2, and then another half, minus a half. We're just going to keep going until the end. So then the knave of clubs ate half, divide by 2. I'll just keep going down the page, and then minus a half. And that left just 1 at the end. So now I can take this 1 and I can just do the opposite. So I'm going to be adding a half on, which is going to take me to 3 over 2. And then I'm going to be going this way and timesing by 2, which is going to give me 3. Then I'm going to be adding a half. That's 6 over 2, so I'm going to get 7 over 2. Timesing by 2 is going to take me to 7. And then 7 over 2, I could write it as 7.5, or I could write it as 15 over 2. And then finally I need to times by 2, which takes me to the answer of 15. Okay, it's a really nice approach. If I was to write it as an equation, it would look a bit like this. It would be x, and then I'm eating half of them, so I'm dividing by 2 and minusing a half. And then we're eating a half of what is left and minusing a half. And then we are dividing that by 2 and minusing a half, and that would be equal to 1. And what you end up doing is exactly what I did, but you just have to realize to add the half, then times by 2, and so on. So I just think it flows more naturally from a function machine. But of course, it's good to be able to solve equations like this because it might look really complicated, but just do all the steps to undo, which will involve adding and then timesing. You wouldn't times first because you'd have to times this as well. Of course, you could do that. You just that might even be easier to be fair. But one of these approaches, hopefully you're happy with.